Okay, so here's some things you're going to need to stick your phone back together. You're going to, now that you've got your screen cleaned up pretty well, and I've already glued this red thing back on with the super glue. That's the first step. Go ahead and get that back in there. It's got some little slots that you'll see once you dig out all the old residue, the old tape. Glue that back in first, let it dry, and make sure you get it into place real good so the screen will line back up, because the glass has got to fit right back around that thing, so it's got to be in its slots the best you can get it. Which if you clean all the old tape out, it will fall right back in there perfectly. You're going to want a cotton swab, your tools that came with your screen, which I bought a screen on eBay, and I have no idea what this tool here is for, because the last screen I bought did not come with this tool. It only came with one of these, so I have no idea what this is for. But you also want a rubber band, and I'm going to talk about this later, but you're going to need it for testing. And of course the super glue, which you're going to use to glue the screen back in. Now, I don't know where exactly to buy the original tape for these things. I do have some double stick duct tape, but I don't know if I really want to try it. The super glue seems to work pretty well. You got to be very careful. The last phone I did, I put residue over top of that little thing right there, that light sensor, the super glue residue, and it coated that thing, so that's what lets you know and lets the phone know that it's up to your face whenever you talk onto it, and so it cuts the screen off. So the screen would cut off immediately when the phone came on, so I had to take it back apart, dig that lens out, clean it up. Wasn't no fun, which I'm going to show later on in the video. And you're going to need probably some nail polish remover. It's 100% acetone, and that's going to be used if you spill any super glue, because that's what you'll need the cotton swab for. You will just wipe onto it. More than likely, when it dries, you'll be putting super glue around the edges here. There's going to be a ring all the way around the phone if you're not careful of residue. Even if you are careful, you might still get it on there, and so you're going to need that cotton swab or something similar to wipe around the edges of the glass to get that ring out, and it removes it perfectly. That's the best system I've came up with. So now we're going to get into the next step of putting the phone together. Okay, here's the next step. I would suggest you buy gloves. I don't have any at the moment, but when you stick your fingers on this glass, it gets fingerprints, and you do not really want to get fingerprints on the back side of the glass where you're going to stick it in, because it's hard to go around the outside ring and get them off once it's inside the frame. Very difficult, because then you get hairs from your cotton swab or something in there, and when you turn the phone, put the phone back together and turn it on, you got hairs inside the screen. It's very difficult. Make sure your environment's clean. Like, I clean my desk off really well, so all the hairs and lint should be gone. But first step is to peel off your laminate on the back side of your screen. And like I said, do not touch this. In fact, I washed my hands, scrubbed them thoroughly, so that hopefully I get most of the oils off, at least for a few minutes while I put this phone together. You don't need that plastic, of course. Throw that away. So now you got your screen, and I already see a little smudge mark right there where I touched it by accident, and so I'm going to wipe that off. Another good thing you can have when you're putting these things together is some sort of cleaning cloth. This is made for some Oakley sunglasses, but something like that for sunglasses will something with cotton, will clean it off real well without putting lint on the screen. Alright, it looks pretty good. You can peel off the front side too if you just feel like it. Because really you need to, actually, because it's going to get in the way, more than likely, as you're putting it in. But it's best to grasp the thing like this. I'm trying to get in the camera here. The camera's not up high enough to actually do any good. Grasp it on the corners. Like that. So you don't get behind it as much as possible. Now, you need your super glue, and fun part begins right here, around these edges, right here. You gotta be very careful because you will get glue smeared on the inside of your glass. You do not want that. So, you're going to have to be very careful. And right here, remember to avoid those light sensors. These sensors here, I wouldn't put no glue near them. They go spot right in the center. But don't go around the edges of those things. It's not really necessary to hold the screen down. And if you get them covered, goodness, I don't know how much they cost, but you don't want to take your phone back apart to replace them. So, now, it's good to have super glue with a fine tip onto it, so you can smear it around more easy. You just gotta be kind of thin through here. Just go around the edge of it. Well, come on out. Super glue tends to dry out. Oops. See there, I knew it was going to happen. My super glue container dried out a little bit. I just put too much glue right there than I wanted. I'm going to wait a little bit for it to dry, but I got time. The little blob came out too fast. Just go around the edge real gently, get it wet, not too wet. You just want it moist, because super glue is sticky. So you ain't really got to worry about taking it on too thick. But you don't want to go too thin either, because I put one on and then had to peel it back off because it didn't have enough glue onto it. Now right in here I'm going to be really careful, because you put it thick on the corners. I'd put it thick on the corners. Around those light sensors, there's one right there. You just be careful. Just don't even get near it. It ain't important. Hold the screen down. Just like this. Now avoid that light sensor right there. The plague. That one right there is just going to cause you all kinds of conflict. Just get up there in the corners real good. You know, you want the corners held down. Then right here, getting the camera on the other side. Back side here, just smear around. There ain't nothing down here. Make sure you get the corners good though. Corners got to be held down. Else you'll notice it flopping as you touch it. And you want it to be as original as possible, which it will be. If you get enough glue on the corners. You just don't want it to smear when you do it. And I think that's pretty good. Now you gotta be kind of quick because the glue will dry on you. Then you won't have as much stickiness left when you go stick your screen down. You got a little slot right here and you got your tab. You're gonna push this down through that little hole. It's good to practice this beforehand. I'm going to do it outside the camera range because it's too hard to get it shown. Shove it down in there. Shove the screen on. Like so. Set it down and push down onto it. You got to hold down for a little bit. Squeeze it real good, get it all nice and tight. all the way around. Get your fingers onto it. Supposed to, super glue container says to hold it, what, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, something like that, you know. And it really does make a difference if you hold it. You might have to kind of pry it up. And that's no fun if you want to do that. Once you hold it for a little bit, it'll dry on there nice and tight. You'll never even know that your screen's ever been off the phone. Looking pretty good. See right there on that finger, right there. See there's a little bit of hair. I mean, I'm telling you, the most miserable things. Just a little bit of lint, and that gets behind the screen. That phone turns on. You'll see it. So you got to be very peculiar about getting that stuff out of there. All right. Looks pretty good. A little bit of flex right there, though, on the edge. There ain't much you can do about it. There's glue around it, but corners all look good. Yeah. Yep, looks pretty good. There's your new glass put in your phone. This may not be the best way of doing it, but it does glue it in there. There's your ribbon cable ready to go. You put the phone back in. So we're going to move on to the next step. Okay, this next step is going to be a lot more fun. In the future, I hope to be able to find the original seal, you know, the double stick tape, because super glue can leave residue and it takes a lot of time to get out. I've been working on this screen now for probably 30-40 minutes since the last take, since the last step. And so you can expect 30 minutes to an hour after you get it together if you spill any super glue onto it, which I did. It's very hard to get out. You're going to have to use your Q-tips to get real tight in between there, and then flip it over and make sure there's nothing you can see, and then you're going to have to get all the little hair particles out, and it's difficult. So I believe I've got it. You know, it looks really good. And so the next step is to get your LCD and to stick it into the frame, but you're going to make sure it's clean too. You look it over real good. I suggest that you get a high-powered light to, like I'm underneath a nice bright workstation here, and that way you can see any little hair particles. Because when that screen comes on, you'd be surprised. You can see a hair particle, and you really don't want hairs underneath your LCD screen if you can see them. So just get it clean, both the LCD and the frame. Which my LCD now is looking pretty good. Yep. And stick it back into the frame. This part here, it was originally glued, but the frame sits behind it, the rest of the phone. It holds it in there, so really you just need to put these two screws in here. And I usually on the back side, I will stick a piece of tape. Just any tape would do, clear tape, masking tape. Just stick a little piece right across here where the screws ain't, and it'll help hold that down, but I really think even that's unnecessary. And that is how you get the LCD back in there. Now I'd wipe it clean real good, and again get you a flashlight and just shine it on the screen part itself, is look it over real good in the light and make sure there's no hairs or anything behind there, because you don't want to be taking it, apart over and over and over. Just get you a light and shine it on there. Look back in there, and that's a good way to test and make sure it looks good. Okay, when you go to stick it back together, like I said earlier, you're going to want to test the phone out. That's why you're going to need this rubber band. And the rubber band is going to be used to strap the battery on, of course. That way you can test it before you put it all back together. This little strip right here, let me get in focus, that one that's currently installed, that is the one that does your little touch sensitive buttons on the front. And if that thing is not right, not perfect, then your touch sensitive buttons will work, but they won't light up, and you'll tear the whole phone apart again. And I've had to tear it apart several times. So what you do is you strap your battery on so it'll work, and then you can kind of just fiddle with it, leave it unlocked, and turn the phone on, fiddle with it, and then lock it back down whenever you get it working. And then you can install your trackpad, and once everything's working, then you can put it back together. They can be a total nuisance. I mean, anything, including the screen itself, cannot work because of these ribbon cables won't be properly secured down. And so you're going to want to test these things, make sure you got them working before you stick the whole phone back together, which isn't too hard with rubber band. It may look kind of corny, but it does work. It's something I've discovered. Alright, when you get through, you should have a droid that looks like this. It'll be basically like new. No scratches on the screen, and for the most part you can never tell that it was ever taken apart because it fits right back in there perfectly in the bezel. So there you are. That's how you put back together a Droid incredible cell phone. It may not be the best technique, and I'm still working on how I'm putting them together, and I hope to get better at it because this is only my third phone. But just try different things and you'll get better at it too. Hopefully you only have to do one though, but I've had to fix 3, so